to raise my self-esteem. Why do people put other people down? Yes?
How did you get water on it?
It's you guys cheering. It's just, you know, it's magic. It just raises the urn of self-esteem. You know, it's just incredible what, you know, when you feel good, how it just happens. I don't know how to explain it other than that. Except for if I drink any more water, I'm going to burst. Listen, I want to know, guys, I don't know what you had for lunch that early, but I had a tossed salad. I want to talk a little about how fragile we are and what happens to our self-esteem if we're put down, or if we have one of those days where something goes wrong, and you know, and basically my feeling is that it's very important for us to understand that we are fragile, and that without self-esteem, it's like running with a sock on. By the way, all my socks are like this. Thank God for shoes. So when we try, and you saw that obviously I'm a juggler, but I can't do it very well if I'm not feeling very good about myself. So there are things that happen in terms of the things that we try to do, right? If we're not feeling good, not feeling good about ourselves. And if you understand that about others, that others will succeed more if you can help them to see the good in themselves, the better things, right? And if we put down people in the negative, that's not a way to help people succeed. So what I'm going to ask you to all do is to always think about that when you're dealing with any of your peers, that it's so easy to kind of give them a dig and put them down, yet that's not what's going to help them. Because we don't know what a person's experience is. We don't really know where they're coming from. Right? It could be that they just had a fight with their parents or their boyfriend or girlfriend or best friend, or they just got some bad news or lost a relative. I mean, we don't know when we approach people. And I want to tell you from my own experience, because I have a very close friend who I work a lot with, and he just happens to not be very tall. Right? And so he's very short. I mean, he's about 5 foot. And, you know, we were doing a lot of trainings together, and I have a tendency, and something I'm trying to work on myself, to just like to you know, especially with friends, you know, just a quick one, you know, one-upmanship. And without really thinking about it, I was making references to his height, you know. And one day when I said it, and I looked at him and was like, you know, it looks like he wasn't there. You know, and all of a sudden it dawned on me that I had hurt him. And I didn't mean to hurt him, right? But I hurt him. I didn't know what his experience was, so I sat down and I said, I screwed up, didn't I? He said, yeah, big time. I said, well, can you talk about it? And what he told me was, he said, you don't know what my experience is. He says, you don't understand that whenever you say that, it brings me all the way back to elementary school, when I was the last kid picked because I was the smallest. It brings me back to the experience of being cut from the basketball team because I was too short. It brings me back to all of the picking on that I had to go through, all the put-downs throughout my school life, where people were always making fun of my height. Right? And he said, every time you say it, even in jest, I still feel all of the pain of all those years. So we don't always know what the experience is. We can't know. So what we have to do is be real careful and treat everyone like an egg. Right? Not that everyone's that fragile, but in terms of not putting them down. Right? Not doing something that may hurt them. And then if you do that, then very often they might be able to try some new things. Right? And maybe they'll succeed, and maybe they won't. By the way, these are our Three Stooges. Arnold, Chico, Groucho to the cigar. But that's something for you to keep in mind. And the way I look at it is, as a community, we are really as strong as our weakest link. So if we don't take care of one another, right, and something happens to, and you know, when tragedy or something, it's enough that tragedy hits that we can't control, how it affects most of us. It's important for us to understand that we have to try to keep this community together, and that we're all part of it, and we all belong. And that not treating others fairly is not a way to do that.